fund a review to limit discrimination against women. Outstanding PNG women honored. And PNG Tourism, the sleeping giant.
This is National EMTV News with Helen Sayer.
Good evening and welcome to Friday's news. 5 laws are currently being reviewed to limit the discrimination against women in the country. The laws include Employment Act, Bail Act, Arrest Act, Family Protection and Public Service General Order Act. The review is facilitated by the Constitutional Law Review Commission under the Legislative Working Committee on the Convention of the Elimination of All Forms of Discrimination Against Women.
This work is supported by the UN Women. UN Women Country Director Dr. Jeff Buchanan says it is reassuring to see progress in this work.
We are very pleased at UN Women to be able to support the review of these important acts, which shows again that things are not static in this country, that they move forward, and that, for example, being able to review 5 really important points of legislation demonstrates that the innovation and that the continuum to keep updates, keep current, is really important. So that the Employment Act is going to be now reviewed to make sure or to assess the inclusion of women in particular, and gender equality in particular is really a wonderful piece of work to be done.
CLRC Secretary Dr. Eric Kwa says there is much the Commission will achieve with the support they have received.
So with the support of the UN Women, with almost 200,000, that will now help us to cover at least 5 pieces of law. And that's a huge contribution because we can now be able to deliver to the government and the people of Papua New Guinea 5 pieces of legislation that's been professionally done by a team of people who are sitting around here, a team that is working very hard, collaborating very effectively, which we are excited to be a part of. Thank you.
On top of the funding, UN Women yesterday presented a multimedia projector and laptop to CLRC.
I just want to thank you again, Dr. Buchanan, for your continued support to our government and to our 2 institutions. I just want to acknowledge that, and I want to reassure you that the Constitutional Law Reform Commission, the commissioners and the institution itself, we are all fully supportive of this project.
Sarah Aupong, National EMTV News.
5 outstanding PNG women were honored last night at the CPL Pride of PNG Awards Night. Enid Kantha, Mary Torre, Anne Mamoko, Sister Pauline Carl and Stephanie Paride were celebrated as inspirational women who go above and beyond their call of duties.
They are stories that need to be heard and celebrated. They are stories of perseverance, determination, courage, empathy, love and ingenuity. While there were 5 winners on the night, all judges were united in the view that all the nominees for this year were winners. Anne Mamoko was the winner of the Community Spirit Award. As a community health worker, she works in remote aid post in Oro Province, where she provides much-needed service of a midwife.
We had a lot of struggle and challenges with road and bridges. And working with God, showing our love and our commitment to serve the people, the service will be very much easier.
The Education Role Model Award recipient was Sister Pauline Carl, a TVET educator in Western Highlands who goes beyond her duties to impart practical skills to the communities she works with. The Young PNG Award was given to Stephanie Paride, who is currently studying in the University of Sydney. A very proud brother, Daniel, received the award on her behalf and read out Stephanie's speech.
Very proud, extremely proud. This was something that we all didn't expect, and for me and the rest of my family, the rest of all our family, it's an amazing feeling.
Other recipients included Enid Kantha for bravery and courage and Mary Torre for care and compassion. However, this year was the first time the judges couldn't agree on a winner for the environment category. Over the 10 years it's been running, CPL's Pride of PNG has received over 4,000 nominations and awarded 60 recipients. For Chairman Mahesh Patel, it has been a rewarding experience.
Possibly the most revealing part of the awards is seeing the women through the eyes of the nominators. The respect, admiration, and awe of the women they have nominated. They represent the husbands, the children, the parents, colleagues, community and church members, and all the people whose lives were touched by the nominees.
Sarah Aupong, National EMTV News.
It's no secret that the tourism industry in Papua New Guinea has long been a sleeping giant compared to Fiji, whose booming industry dominates visitor arrivals into the region. The country has long been plagued with issues hindering the industry's growth, such as law and order and high costs of travel. Despite this, industry stakeholders are determined to change perceptions and capitalize on opportunities presented by the booming Asian market. Lian Jarari reports.
This morning at the National Tourism Conference, appropriately held at the newest hotel in Port Moresby, the Stanley Hotel, stakeholders from the Papua New Guinean and Greater South Pacific tourism industry discussed tourism for development and the abounding opportunities available. Minister for Tourism, Arts and Culture Tobias Kulang addressed the challenges that the Papua New Guinean industry is facing, stating that because a great part of our vast country is undiscovered, it is also sadly undeveloped, which hinders the growth of the tourism industry. Though the country is described as paradise and an island of gold floating on a sea of oil and gas, the fledgling industry contributes less than 2% to the economy. Law and order issues, high costs of domestic travel and accommodation deter many visitors away from Papua New Guinea and to our neighbors in the South Pacific.
PNG remains largely undiscovered and one of the last frontiers on Earth. Undiscovered because its products and destinations are largely undeveloped. The industry now contributes less than 2% to PNG's GDP, where within the region, on average, it's 10% and upwards.
Experts have discovered a growing change of dynamics in the global industry, particularly a growing market in the Asia-Pacific region. In 2015, international tourist arrivals grew by a whopping 4.4%, reaching a record 1.2 billion, and the first quarter of this year saw an above-average growth, with destinations worldwide receiving 348 million international tourists, some 18 million more than the same period last year. Studies indicate that 23% of these visitors were from the Asia-Pacific market.
What we do know is that the growth forecast for 2030, now that might sound a long time away, a long period away, but it's not. It's only 15 years away. It's anticipated that this will grow to 1.8 billion tourists worldwide. And what we do know is the largest percentage growth will come from the Asia-Pacific region, just up the road here. So we need to be aware of that. We need to be aware of these new opportunities.
According to Mr. Flynn, with Asia on Papua New Guinea's doorstep, opportunity is just up the road. The industry is no longer a sleeping giant, but a standing giant that needs to be grown. Leon Jarari, National EMTV News.
The head of WK Kiddy Peace and Good Plus Sindown Foundation says the virtue of peace is needed for the country to develop. In an interview with EMTV, founder Wat Kiddy said peace cannot be easily achieved, but is essential for human life to progress. Mr. Kiddy made this statement following celebrations held on Wednesday to signify the International Day of Peace.
Mr. Kiddy spoke of the need for peace in the country. He says the diversity of PNG's culture may pose a threat to development. However, if peace is highly prioritized, PNG would experience a faster development rate.
And peace is
the most important ingredient that will bind us and hold us together and glue us together. And peace is the way forward for Papua New Guinea. If Papua New Guinea is going to progress, they must allow peace to take the lead.
An accountant by profession, Mr. Kidi established the WK Kidi Peace and Good Lasindon Foundation to embrace the message of peace to every community in the country.
That's our vehicle to campaign about peace, to promote peace, to initiate peace issues among tribes, among people, among companies, among corporate bodies, among individuals, among communities, among villages, among settlements. All of us need peace.
Yesterday, the foundation held a small gathering to celebrate the day. Mr. Kidi is now calling on all stakeholders to support the foundation carry out its programs around the country. The International Day of Peace is set aside by the United Nations. This year's theme is Sustainable Development is essential for lasting peace and depends on the level of respect for human rights.
Peace is the fundamental ingredient for human lives, as well as the environment that we live in. So without peace, we can't move forward, we can't progress. So the International Peace Day is a wonderful day.
Mr. Kidi is confident next year's celebration will be bigger and better. The foundation will also host the Peace Awards night on 9th of November. Jack Lapave, Junior National, EMTV News.
Among stories after the break, opposition leader critical of Air Niugini's sacking of pilots and sentencing for Western governor adjourned. Stay tuned. Welcome back. Opposition leader Don Pollier has slammed Air Niugini for sacking the 8 pilots who were involved in the protest in August. Pollier said it was a poor decision and sacking them won't solve anything. He also condemned the termination of the 19 student leaders by the UPNG Council.
The Air Niugini pilots, they do not deserve sacking. That sacking is unjustified. They are an issue. They have issues.
The delay in the completion of pretense reports has resulted in the adjournment of submissions on sentencing for Western Governor Ati Wabiro and his 2 co-accused. Wabiro's lawyer told the court that he was not ready with the submissions because he only received the report this morning and asked for a 1-month adjournment. The adjournment was granted, but not according to the lawyer's wish. It will be heard next Monday at 1:30 in the afternoon.
The other 2 defendants in this case are Western Provincial Administrator Dr. Modowa Gumoy and businessman Norman May. Today was set as the date for submissions on their sentencing, but their lawyer said he needed time to review the reports and was not in a position to make submissions. A pre-sentence report is a study into a convicted person's history and is required by law to be completed before that person is sentenced. The state lawyer objected to the submissions and said Wabiro's lawyer selected September 23rd as the submissions date, knowing that the pre-sentence reports was going to be released on the same date. After much debate, Justice Martin Ipang adjourned the hearing to September 26th. The 3 defendants were found guilty of misusing over 7 million kina, money belonging to the Western Provincial Government, to set up the Fly Care Foundation. The court found that the foundation was never set up and the money was not accounted for. Following their verdict, they were allowed out on bail by the National Court. This bail was extended today under the same conditions. Tekla Gunga, National, EMTV News.
An amended motion filed by the late Kopiago MP Philip Undialu to restrain the first defendant and Komomagrema MP Francis Potape from performing his duty as Hela Governor will be heard on September 30. Today, lawyer representing Undialu sought relief for the court to adjourn the hearing to give him more time to serve Potape the amended notice of motion. This motion was filed on September 19 after Potape was voted in by the Assembly as the governor.
The motion was adjourned from Monday to today for hearing, but was adjourned again to next Friday. Undialu's lawyer need to find the first respondent, Potape, the second respondent and Deputy Governor Thomas Potape, and the third respondent, the Deputy Clerk of Hela Provincial Assembly, Philbert Tuya, to serve the files. Following the court case between Undialu and Potape, the National Court issued directions on September 6 for the Hela Provincial Assembly to meet to vote a new governor. On September 13, the Assembly met and voted Potape as the governor. This did not go down well with Undialu, who filed an ex parte order to restrain him from performing his duty in the interest of justice. Undialu's lawyer told Justice Colin Makail this morning that he was unable to locate the respondent, Francis Potape. The National Court gave him a week to serve the files. Vasanata Yama, National EMTV News.
NCD Metropolitan Superintendent Ben Turi has condemned the insult on an EMTV news crew by the policeman implicated in the condom eating saga. Turi said the accused officer, probationary constable Joshua Yawija, will be disciplined internally by his superiors. This is the second time Yawija has insulted media personnel.
Turi's comment follows an attempted assault on an MTV news crew on assignment at the Waigani Courthouse earlier this month. The assault happened outside the Waigani Committal Court as the MTV News cameraman was filming Yawija leaving the courtroom.
Court will clear out, and if they are found guilty, well, they have to face it. Okay, so I'm glad that it's now committed to go to the national court, same as any other trials. Okay, regarding us police officers. So.
Yawija, who allegedly forced a woman to swallow male condoms whilst on duty last December, did not want his pictures to be taken and tried to remove the camera from the cameraman before verbally abusing him. He later tried to throw a punch at the reporter. The matter has been reported to police.
A file is with us, and OIC discipline is working on the case. So. While the officer is going to the two of them standing on trial, the discipline, they'll be facing the discipline charges also.
Meanwhile, Turi is happy with the committal court's decision to commit Yawija and co-accused Jacqueline Tanda to stand trial at a higher court. Thekla Gunga, National EMTV News.
Now looking at our finance news, the kina closed unchanged at $0.3155 in the interbank market. At Bank South Pacific, your kina was buying $0.3080, $0.3997 Australian dollars, $0.2717 euro, and 30.70 Japanese yen. Looking at commodity prices at New York close, cocoa closed higher while gold, coffee, and copra closed the day lower. Crude oil and copper closed lower while palm oil closed the day higher. And on the stock market, the Dow Jones closed at 98.76 points higher, the ASX is trading at 56.85 points higher, and the All Ordinaries is trading at 52.28 points higher. National EMTV News continues after the break. Don't go away. Welcome back to the news. National health indicators and outcomes have not improved as expected in the past 8 years. This was revealed by WHO Western Pacific Regional Director Dr. Shin Young-soo at the launch of the Corporation Strategy 2016 to 2020 yesterday. Dr. Shin says with the launch, he wants to see improvement to health indicators and outcomes in the country.
Dr. Shin Young-soo revealed that the review of the National Health Plan 2011 to 2020 revealed disappointing progress. The country cooperation strategy will see the government and WHO continue to work together to improve public health outcomes. This year's CCS is a response to lessons learned from the previous CCS 2010 to 2016.
Papua New Guinea now faces a crucial situation. Transitions. Decentralization of health services increasing. Meanwhile, providing essential services continue to be a challenge. and health sector financing faces serious constraint.
The 5-year plan focuses on 4 strategic plans. These are achieving sustainable health outcomes, strengthening health systems and health security, policy dialogue, and improving partner coordination. Dr. Shin says while the new CCS and UN development goals are important, the country must continue to work to reach the milestone of the Millennium Development Goals.
With the support of WHO and partners, we remain committed to improving the lives of our people. The CCS covers 4 levels of strategic priorities, each with a set of defined focus areas. Topmost priority is achieving sustainable health outcomes and address TB, which remains a major public health concern, and vaccine preventable diseases in the light of PNG not attaining MDG of reduction of maternal and newborn mortality.
The new CCS takes into account the findings and recommendations of WHO's performance assessment in the country, as well as other assessments of the country's health system. Merlin Diaukatam, National EMTV News.
Sir Joseph Nombri Memorial General Hospital in Kundiawa has become the referral hospital for the Highlands region. The hospital has seen an influx of patients after the Goroka General Hospital and Mount Hagen General Hospital experienced issues with staff and management. It was made known during the hospital's open day that services were affected due to the 25% cut in government funding. Kundiawa General Hospital has managed to keep services running due to internal revenue income. CEO Matthew Kaluvia has asked the government and health department to address their issues. The nationwide demographic health survey is about to kickstart in the Madang province. This week ended with training for participating surveyors who were selected from within Madang province. The team will be interviewing selected households in some of the most remote parts of the province. Despite the challenge of getting answers to very sensitive and personal questions, the team is determined. Rachel Shise with this report.
As is being conducted nationwide, the demographic health survey is set to kick off in Madang province. The training this week is to help get the selected surveyors geared before they step into some of the remotest parts of the province.
We'll go to Kovon, which is the extreme in Middle Ramu, it's towards the Engen border, and Gorawan, which is the extreme at Raikos. That's towards the Morbe border.
Some of the questions the surveyors will be asking the people are very sensitive, personal questions about previous marriages and multiple sex partners, which will be a challenge given the traditional taboos.
Some of them will answer the questions, others will be a bit reluctant to give answers to those questions.
With a 90 days time frame, the team needs manpower to get the work done on time and is appealing to the provincial government to help.
The provincial government to fund a third team to make this survey to be successful.
Selected households will be interviewed, providing a wide range of data which policymakers will use towards planning for health in the medium-term development strategy.
The country will know whether we are achieving the targets or we are slightly below or we are far off the targets.
Rachel Shise, National EMTV News, Madang.
Law and order remains the single most important issue in PNG. This issue can be addressed properly with proper discussions between individuals, community leaders and government authorities. This was addressed today by the community leaders of West Araka in Ley, Morbe Province.
Over the last 2 weeks, there was a major clash between residents of Sialum compound in Ley.
A alcohol-related issue led to another clash at Banana Block in Caswary Road during Independence last week. Community leaders of West Taraka have suggested ways to improve law and order in the area.
Plenty of come up here, long attitude problem, kind of some consumption long liquor.
Most of the crimes happen because of unemployment and lack of opportunity. Alu Pagao says a discussion should happen between community leaders and government authorities to help minimize crimes in the area.
Put him all, train him all, put him all lawyer, all by work now, all by down in problem lawyer.
Garungs Marian, a former police constable who retired in 1970, volunteered to serve as a peace mediator. He says crime in West Taraka today has been the same as it was in the past.
But only not feeling this, or say working yet.
Julie Badui Owa, National EMTV News, Leh.
The St. Peter's Channel Catholic College of Secondary Teacher Education in East New Britain has been formally recognized as a national education institution in PNG. The previously Catholic-run seminary was converted to a secondary teaching institute in 2014. Yesterday, Higher Education Minister Francis Maros presented its accreditation as a higher learning institution in the country.
Yesterday was a day of jubilation for the institution. It marks the start of a relationship between the government and the Catholic Church for the first time. The Minister for Higher Education, Research, Science and Technology, Francis Maros, arrived from Waigani yesterday with the good news for the college. He brought with him the recognition that formally marks St. Peter's Channel College as one of the teaching institutions that will produce secondary school teachers for the country.
The college coming this far is an achievement of the Catholic Archdiocese of Referral, together with the Ministry and the Department of Higher Education, Research, Science, Technology and the government as a whole.
Minister Maros says the partnership between the Catholic Church and the government seeks to meet the growing demand of teachers in secondary schools around the country. He says the free education imposed by the PNC-led government has fueled a shortage of teachers in recent years, and the government seeks to fill in the void by tapping into legitimate teaching institutions.
Channel College is the second tertiary level institution to be training secondary school teachers in the country, and it's more focused on mathematics and science, an area of specific needs in our country today.
The Catholic-run institution, previously known as the St. Peter's Seminary, was closed down in 2014 and declared a teaching institution. By then, only 30 students took the risk and enrolled at the institution, but today it has over 100 plus students enrolled as full-time students.
This gave us 5 months to repair the buildings, write programs, recruit lecturers, call for application for students, enrollments, and the list goes on.
Graduates from here will join others from its sister universities like the University of Goroka to work in the higher education teaching services. Edwin Fidelis, National EMTV News, Kokopo.
Turning overseas, Barack Obama has a high opinion of a boy from New York, with the U.S. president saying we should all be more like Alex. This 6-year-old boy wrote to the U.S. president offering to adopt the Syrian boy wounded in Aleppo. Mr. Obama read from the letter at the United Nations this week and posted a video on Facebook. Here it is.
Remember the boy who was picked up by the ambulance in Syria? Can you please go get him and bring him to our home? Park in the driveway or on the streets, and we'll be waiting for you guys with flags, flowers, and balloons. We will give him a family, and he will be our brother. Catherine, my little sister, will be collecting butterflies and fireflies for him. In my school, I have a friend from Syria, Omar, and I will introduce him to Omar, and we can all play together. We can invite him to birthday parties, and he will teach us another language. Since he won't bring toys and doesn't have toys, Catherine will share her big blue strawberry white bunny, and I will share my bike, and I will teach him
will teach him addition and subtraction. Those are the words of a 6-year-old boy. He teaches us a lot. The humanity that a young child can display, who hasn't learned to be cynical or suspicious or fearful of other people because of where they're from or how they look or how they pray. We can all learn from Alex.
Alex, 6 years old.
The Australian Prime Minister's 13 tested Port Moresby's heat in this morning's training session. We'll be back with the details in Trukai Sports.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome to Trukai Sports. Having arrived in Port Moresby to a rousing local welcome, the Australian Prime Minister's side put their rockstar status to the side and began focusing on their preparations for Saturday afternoon's blockbuster against the PNG PM's 13. The team, captained by South Sydney fullback Greg Inglis, headed out to their first training session in the Port Moresby heat with a win on their minds.
The 18-man side appeared relaxed and fully professional as they tested the grounds at the National Football Stadium in Port Moresby this morning. Despite the sweltering conditions and under clear blue skies, the Australians focused on acclimatizing themselves against a PNG side filled with semi-professional players taken from the PNG Hunters franchise. For some of the Australian players, Papua New Guinea was a new experience.
I'm coming over here. I've talked to some of the other boys that have been here. Aaron Woods, who's played here a few years ago, said it's pretty crazy and they love their footy, but didn't really know what to expect. But it's great. I've loved the last few days here, and I'm really looking forward to the game tomorrow.
Ryan James from the Gold Coast Titans, who had played for the PM's 13 side previously, expressed amazement at the large crowd he had witnessed on arrival at Jackson's International Airport.
Yeah, I've been over before. It's unbelievable. I think the last time I was here, the fences weren't as good, and they all seemed to get in. But this time it was great. When everyone walked out there, the crowd was electric. So hopefully at the game on the weekend, it's going to be even better.
Other activities apart from the session itself was a presentation of jerseys to the New South Wales under-16 schoolboys, who will also be facing the PNG under-16 side tomorrow. The main message delivered by organisers of the Prime Minister's 13 match focuses on the theme of Strong Men Respect Women, a campaign aimed at stopping violence against women in Papua New Guinea. The match starts at 4 p.m. at the National Football Stadium. Jeremy Moggy, National EMTV Sports.
Prior to the campaign, South Australian Cricket Premier League campaign, the Hebel PNG Barramundis travelled to Queensland, where they were unsuccessful against 3 Australian state teams in 3 50-over matches. However, the Barramundis' successful opening match against Darwin's Southern Force last Saturday was a great comeback. Diniros Raiko reports.
Now looking forward to the matches against Eastern Edge and Western Grid this weekend, Patel hopes his team can replicate or even better the last performance in order to win. Under the leadership of Captain Assad Vala, who performed exceptionally well in their last win against Southern Force last week, the Barramundis will put themselves to test again.
It's just the cricket awareness, our tactical awareness. It's the 1-2% that we need to improve on, and we're only going to do that by playing more often against stronger teams.
Patel said fielding was outstanding and middle and death bowling brought them back into the game. He added these batting performances reflect what Barramundis should have done against Western Australia in Maroochydore by winning with overs to spare.
Training sessions we're very good at. Our work ethics have increased, our fitness levels have increased. So, look, the only way that the Barramundis are going to go forward, we need to be playing good, strong cricket. And the last 3 games against the state teams were the ideal preparation.
Willie Gavera's presence boosted the performance after 12 months of recovery from injury. Along with batsman Sese Bao, the team's performance is expected to be even better. After this weekend's matches, the Barramundis will go for 4 more matches before returning home. Dinero Sraiko, National EMTV Sports.
Karo Lelai, the Secretary of PNG Basketball and a board member of the country's National Olympic Committee, has presented a progress report to FIBA. The partnership between FIBA's foundation, FIBA Oceania and Basketball PNG seeks to engage the youth in regular basketball activities and educate them on the importance of living a healthy lifestyle. Lelai also used her time at FIBA's headquarters to hold meetings with the National Federation and Sports Department. Chukai Sports continues after the break. Stay with us.
Chukai Sports.
Welcome back to Chukai Sports. New Guinea Professional Boxing will be hosting a fundraiser tomorrow at the Golden Bowl restaurant here in the nation's capital. Philippines pro boxers are invited to attend as this initiative is aimed at reviving professional boxing in Papua New Guinea. Professional boxing has been non-existent for the last 6 years, and all earnings from this fundraiser will go towards its relaunch next month. And in football, Leicester City manager Claudio Ranieri said the pressure on new Manchester United manager Jose Mourinho was to be expected as their sides prepare to meet at Old Trafford on Saturday. Despite winning the first 4 games of his tenure, Mourinho has come under scrutiny from the media after United's slump in form, with the club currently 6 points behind leaders Manchester City in the league. Jeremy Mogi reports.
Kasper Schmeichel is good today.
United were beaten 3-1 at Watford last weekend, having lost 2-1 in the Premier League to neighbours Manchester City the week before, and going down 1-0 at Feyenoord in the Europa League. Mourinho's side ended the 3-match losing streak by winning 3-1 at Northampton Town in the League Cup on Wednesday.
For me, it's not important, the pressure with the others. And I want to manage our pressure with my players. We are okay. We manage very well the pressure. We want to make a very good match Saturday, and that's it.
Ranieri told reporters on Thursday that every manager has a lot of jobs to do, and it's normal. Mourinho is a great manager, a fantastic person, and wished him all the best, not only on Saturday, but after that as well.
I'm very, very surprised because often happen 1 month before opening the market, not now. He signed a new contract, then everything is normal. But it's good. For us it's good, for him it's good.
Media speculation has linked Manchester United with a big money move for Leicester City midfielder Danny Drinkwater. But Ranieri said he was not concerned and sees any interest in his players as a compliment to his team's achievements. United are 7th in the table with 9 points from 5 games, 4 places above Leicester. Jeremy Mogi, National EMTV Sports.
And that ends Chukai Sports. The weather details when we come back.
Chukai Sports. Chukai Sports.
The weather details are proudly brought to you by Dulux Weather Shield. Worth doing with Dulux.
Your weather forecast for tonight and tomorrow: in the southern region, fine in Port Moresby, although cloudy at times. Fine weather in Daru and Kerema. Mostly fine in Alotau and light showers in Popondetta. In the Momase region, a shower or 2 in all centers. And in the New Guinea Islands region, a shower or 2 in Lorengau and Kimbe. Fine weather in Kavieng and mostly fine in Kokopo, Rubal and Buka. And in the Highlands region, brief showers, then expected morning fog in all centers. Forecast for small ships for the next 24 hours. waters of southern PNG Indonesian border through Torres Strait and Daru to Kiwai Island, to Kerma, to Yule Island, to Hood Point, to Samarai Island, and with waters of Finschhafen through Vitia Strait, Siasi Islands to Long Island, seas of 0.5 to 1.5 meters. Waters of eastern and western Milne Bay Islands with waters of Samarai Island to Cape Vogel, to Finschhafen with waters of Medang to Bogia, to Wewak to Aitape, to Vanimo and northern PNG Indonesian border with waters of Manus and its western group of islands, and with waters of New Ireland to New Britain to Bougainville, seas of 0.5 to 1.3 meters. Ocean forecast for PNG areas in the Coral Sea, sea slight to moderate with southeast winds at 10 to 20 knots. In the Solomon Sea, sea slight with northeast to southeast winds at 10 to 15 knots. Bismarck Sea, sea slight with southeasterly winds at 10 to 15 knots with gusts. And in the Pacific Ocean, sea slight with southeast winds at 10 to 15 knots.
The weather details are proudly brought to you by Dulux Weather Shield, with doing with Dulux.
Now recapping our main stories for tonight. Laws under review to limit discrimination against women, outstanding PNG women honored, and PNG Tourism, the sleeping giant. And that's the news, sports and weather for tonight. On behalf of the entire news team, I'm Helen Seah. Pleasant viewing. Good night.